Maybe it is time for you to actually admit that you, as the operant power, made this happen. And I hate the whole blaming game. It isn't that you made things happen because you deserve to be punished or because of some divine thing that happened to you because you needed to learn something, or simply that you just like to suffer. This is not what we do here. The whole truth is that you are manifesting things because your subconscious thinks that what you want is actually not safe. And this is why with my clients I do so much nervous system regulation, and tapping is so good for this, which is also why it helps you rewire your subconscious. But if your recipe is constantly, one day I want you, the next day I don't, one day I'm all over you, messaging you and calling you, and then the next I've completely changed my mind. If you are constantly confused about your recipe, it isn't that, oh, they are avoidant, oh, they have mood swings. It's that consistency, especially when it comes to love, just doesn't feel safe to you. So your subconscious is recreating these experiences because that is a safety space for you. So when you are noticing that your recipe, and this can be a new relationship, an ex, it can be someone that you work with, it can be anyone. If you are noticing this pattern of them saying yes and then no the next day, or being like, we are gonna get married, and then the next day they're ghosting you, this is a pattern. Especially if you've had this happen before in other relationships, this is a pattern. This really means that your subconscious is recreating the same circumstances every time because that's what it knows best, because that's what it thinks it needs to do. It is drawing from past experiences to create a meaning. So this, for example, can look like you have a connection with someone and it feels so good. Then maybe for whatever reason, they pull away for a little bit, and there comes the anxiety. And because of this anxiety, you then start chasing. And because of this chasing, suddenly you get like this little glimpse of what it could be with them again, where maybe they take you out or they message and you get this little dopamine hit, and then the whole thing repeats itself again. Then they pull away and you get that anxiety, and etc, etc. First, let me tell you that this is so normal, okay? It doesn't just happen to you. It does not mean that you are defective. It doesn't mean that you are not meant to have love, which I hear from so many of my clients as well, that then they start wondering, well, maybe I'm just not wired to be in a happy, healthy relationship. You are definitely not broken. But your belief system is just deciding that what is safe and what isn't safe, and most of the time your desires feel unsafe, especially because you've never had those things. So of course your subconscious is like, oh no, this is too dangerous, I can't do this. So the first step is noticing this pattern. And let me tell you that noticing, awareness is always the first step. And because you are the operant power, it means that you can also fix it. To fix it, you first need to know what needs to be fixed. So that's why we first start with awareness. All of this like hot and cold behavior, at the end of the day, is just a subconscious pattern that is being mirrored back to you. So maybe you can also ask yourself, where am I being hot and cold with myself? Maybe you don't keep promises to yourself. Maybe you just keep changing your mind. I'm gonna go to the gym, and then you don't. And then you build this whole pattern within yourself of hot and cold behavior, of loving and unloving behavior towards yourself. And of course, your recipe is just going to mirror that, because your subconscious has now found security and safety in that behavior, as much as we don't like it. So this can create a lot of belief loops where you are constantly thinking, whether it is at a logical level or at subconscious level, that I am never chosen, I am never going to be chosen, I am not good enough, I'm always abandoned, I can't trust love, I can't trust consistency, men are the worst, I can never trust men because they have disappointed me so many times. And all of those beliefs just keep recreating in the 3D. And because then you see it in the 3D, it creates an emotional response. Because we tend to always be looking at the 3D to see where we are in the world and how we feel. And we react to things instead of really believing that what I'm seeing is not the reality. So then because what you're seeing in the 3D is a bit of a shit show, then you start getting anxious, and that anxiety can push them away because you are chasing, and no one likes to be chased with a needy energy. So at this point that you have recognized the pattern and you can see the emotional feelings that are coming out from living this pattern in the 3D, ask yourself, why is my subconscious trying to protect me here? What bad thing do I think is going to happen from getting what I want? What is the thing that the subconscious is trying to protect you from? From there, you can then be like, well, that is just silly. You can speak to your subconscious. You can say to that emotion and to that feeling like, oh, you're not needed here anymore. And sometimes literally just uncovering the reason why, just being like, well, that is just silly. I was 4 years old when I took on that belief, and I am now in my 30s. That feeling, that belief is not needed anymore. So how do you actually break this pattern? Because it's so easy to just be like, well, I'm just going to break the pattern. If those beliefs are still in the background, they are going to be doing their thing, even if you are aware of the pattern. So how do you actually break the cycle? So now that you know this pattern, that you are aware of it, and that you know the reason why, you have to create this emotional stability, safety within your body. And this is where your self-concept work is going to come in, and also your nervous system regulation. Your self-concept is going to be the most important thing. So constantly ask yourself, the version of me that already has my desire, whether it is the relationship or the consistency with this person, what would she be doing? How would she be reacting? What would she be thinking? What would she say? Embody that version. The embodiment work is the most powerful work that you can do with your self-concept. Because you can be repeating your affirmations a million times a day and still not believe it and still not be embodying it. The embodiment comes from the thoughts, from the actions that you take, how you react to things that the 3D is throwing at you. Someone that has this self-concept and truly believes that they are chosen all the time, whenever there is some inconsistency from the other person, they react completely differently than someone that doesn't believe that they are chosen. And what I have found the best way to rewire those subconscious beliefs into really embodying this side of you, this version of you, is with the EFT tapping. Because the EFT tapping can help you really get to the subconscious level and completely eliminate it from your nervous system. And because you are also tapping on the meridian points, the energy points where your energy is flowing, you can calm your nervous system and have a completely different reaction to a memory, a belief, etc. And that creates new neural pathways for a new belief to be created. And if you wanted to try this fully in your body with all the tapping and all the work that I do with my clients, you can get my Chosen Energy Activator bundle that has 4 tappings in there to help you with manifesting commitment, with releasing the anxiety whenever you are in that pattern, manifesting the most incredible day, regulating your nervous system, that are really going to help you step into the most magnetic version of yourself. But also, I wanted to have a disclaimer with you, because you can be watching a lot of videos on YouTube, you can be consuming a lot of content, and something that a lot of people don't mention is that these beliefs do not just magically overnight disappear. You are going to have days where you feel so much more like your self-concept that you want to have, and there are days that then we're just going to dip again. That's completely fine. We are humans, some days are good, some days are bad. But beliefs also are like onions. There are going to be lots of layers of them, lots of different angles, which is also why EFT tapping can help you so much with that, because you can hit it from different angles and really eliminate that belief. But it might not be overnight. So if you have been like doing all of the techniques, and it can be so addictive to try the new technique and try this thing and hope that then you are going to manifest your recipe magically, this is the real work. This is where you actually rewire who you are, who you actually become the best version of yourself, not just for your recipe, but for you to have the most incredible life that you've always dreamed of having. Because your dream life isn't just being with your recipe. It's so much more in depth than that. So then what happens when you have rewired and you are this perfect new version of yourself? What can you actually notice? Because as much as we want to be living into the 4D and knowing that what we see doesn't matter, we still want to actually see things in the 3D change. So you are going to start noticing you have so much more consistency, not just with your SP, but also with your friends, with other people, with people at work. People are just going to be so much more consistent with you, and maybe also nicer or drawn to you. But one magical thing that happens is that you stop looking for validation from the 3D, that you don't need that constant reassurance, that you don't need to be constantly looking everywhere for that sign that means that your recipe is finally going to commit. You have the certainty and the faith and the trust within you to know that this is already yours. So you feel so secure and magnetic, and opportunities are coming to you, and left, right, and center, the world is just magical. So of course, SP then conforms. SP starts showering you with love and gifts and all of the promises, and keeping those promises that you've always wanted to hear from them. And that is the magic of this work. So now that you know how to break this cycle, you need to know the actual blueprint to be manifesting your SP and to make sure that this all works, to be able to implement it in your day-to-day. So let me walk you through the exact step-by-step that my clients have been using to manifest their SP, fully committing to them by rewiring their beliefs with tapping and using the law of assumption. So I give you exactly that in the next video.